2004, a Harvard sophomore launched a website from his dorm room. It was a simple project meant to connect college students, but it would soon become one of the most powerful forces in the modern world. Today, it touches nearly 3 billion lives, but at what cost? What began as a social experiment has transformed into a global empire with influence over elections, economies, and the very fabric of human interaction. How did a college project turn into a corporation worth over $1 trillion? And more importantly, how did a tool for connecting people become a system that some experts now call a threat to democracy, privacy, and even mental health? The story of Facebook is not just a story of social media, it is a story of power, money, and control in the 21st century. The question is simple. Did anyone truly understand what was being unleashed? To understand Facebook, we must first understand the era in which it was born. The early 2000s were a time of optimism in Silicon Valley, a period when the internet was seen as the ultimate democratizer of information. Startups were sprouting in dorm rooms and garages. The rules of engagement were unwritten, and innovation outpaced regulation. Social media itself was in its infancy. Friendster and MySpace dominated early online interactions, but these platforms had slow growth, limited scalability, and fragmented networks. It was a market waiting for a product that could unify connections across communities, colleges, and eventually, the globe. Enter Mark Zuckerberg, a computer science student with a penchant for coding and controversy, alongside co-founders Eduardo Savarin, Dustin Moskovitz, and Chris Hughes. Zuckerberg launched the fastest book in February 2004. Its initial purpose, a digital directory for Harvard students to rate and connect with one another. On the surface, it was harmless, a website to see your classmates, photos, and profiles. But beneath the surface, a new model was emerging, one that monetized attention, social connections, and personal data. This model would eventually become the foundation of what economists called the attention economy. Every click, every like, every friend request could be measured, analyzed, and sold. The origins of Facebook are as much a story of ambition as they are of conflict. In the beginning, Zuckerberg faced legal challenges. The Winklevoss twins, fellow Harvard students, claimed he had stolen their idea for a social network. This early battle set the tone for Facebook's future. Aggressive, relentless, and unafraid of controversy. By mid-2004, Facebook expanded beyond Harvard to other Ivy League schools and soon to colleges nationwide. Its growth was exponential. Why? It leveraged exclusivity. Membership was initially limited, creating a sense of scarcity and prestige that fueled desire and adoption. Social networks had existed before, but Facebook introduced the idea of a standardized, uniform identity across platforms. By 2006, Facebook opened to the public. It was no longer just a college experiment, it was a global phenomenon. Investors took notice. Peter Thiel, co-founder of PayPal, invested $500,000. Suddenly, a dorm room project had turned into a serious business enterprise. But with rapid growth came unforeseen consequences. Privacy policies were vague. Data collection was aggressive. Users unknowingly signed up for a system that tracked their every online interaction. The question was no longer just about connecting people, it was about predicting, influencing, and eventually monetizing their behavior. Facebook's rise was fueled by more than just user adoption. The company-mastered network affects the economic principle, where the value of a product increases as more people use it. Each new user made the platform more indispensable. Governments, media outlets, and advertisers quickly realized its power. By 2012, Facebook went public with a valuation of $104 billion. It had become a critical node in the global economy. Advertisers could target consumers with unprecedented precision. Political campaigns could micro-target voters. Even Wall Street began to see Facebook as not just a tech company, but a social utility with enormous financial leverage. Yet, the very mechanisms that drove growth also planted the seeds of controversy. Data privacy scandals, misinformation campaigns, and algorithmic manipulation exposed the dark underbelly of the attention economy. Facebook was no longer just a platform, it had become a system that shaped human behavior and public opinion. These algorithms, designed to maximize engagement, often amplified divisive content. The financial incentives were clear: more clicks, more ads, more revenue. But the social consequences were profound. Mental health crises, political polarization, and privacy erosion were all indirect costs of exponential growth. The breaking point came in 2018 with the Cambridge Analytica scandal. Millions of users' data were harvested without consent and used to influence political outcomes. Suddenly, the world realized the scale of Facebook's reach and the lack of oversight. Regulators in the US and Europe demanded answers. Zuckerberg testified before Congress, facing questions about ethics, responsibility, and accountability. Yet, despite public outrage, Facebook's business model remained intact. Advertisers continued to pour billions into the platform. User engagement remained high. The paradox was clear. The system had become too big, too embedded, too influential to fail. This breaking point revealed a new reality. Scale and financial power could shield even the most controversial companies from meaningful consequences. Facebook had achieved a status few corporations had ever reached a de facto monopoly on social interaction. The fallout from Facebook's meteoric rise and ethical missteps has been widespread. Users, especially teenagers, faced increased anxiety, depression, and social comparison. Small businesses and traditional media were disrupted, unable to compete with Facebook's ad targeting capabilities. And democracy itself was tested as misinformation campaigns exploited algorithmic weaknesses to sway public opinion. Investors, however, reaped enormous rewards. Zuckerberg's personal wealth skyrocketed. Early employees and venture capitalists became billionaires. The costs, it seems, were externalized. The public paid the price for private gain. This pattern is not unique to Facebook. It mirrors historical financial crises where centralized power, unchecked growth, and opaque systems create wealth for a few, while society bears the collateral damage. Regulators attempted fixes. HDP, ERIIN, Europe, CCPA, in California and various congressional inquiries in the US sought to rein in Facebook's power. The company introduced privacy settings, fact-checking, and content moderation policies, but these were often superficial. Structural incentives remained unchanged. Engagement was still king, and the algorithms still prioritized profit over public good. In essence, Facebook became a mirror of a larger financial and technological paradox. Systems designed for profit can self-correct only to a limited degree. Regulation without enforcement, transparency without accountability, and policy without economic restructuring failed to address the core problem: monetizing human attention at scale. Facebook's story is far from isolated. Modern platforms replicate the same patterns. TikTok's algorithmic feed, Instagram's influencer economy, and YouTube's recommendation system all operate on the same principles: engagement, data monetization, and behavioral influence. The economic and social dynamics that Facebook pioneered have become the blueprint for a new digital era. In the US, the consequences are visible in political polarization, the erosion of local media, and a public increasingly aware that their attention is a commodity. Economically, this has created winner-takes-all dynamics, where a handful of corporations dominate markets, influence culture, and shape policy often beyond democratic oversight. The story of Facebook and Meta offers three powerful lessons. First, scale creates influence beyond oversight. When a system grows faster than regulation, power concentrates in the hands of those who control the network. Second, monetizing human behavior carries societal costs. Attention and data are valuable currencies, but the externalities, from mental health crises to misinformation, are often invisible until they erupt. And third, transparency is not enough without accountability. Policies, audits, and disclaimers matter little if incentives remain misaligned. True reform requires systemic change. Facebook began as a dorm room project, seemingly harmless. Today, it is a force shaping societies, economies, and even democracy itself. The question remains, as technology continues to evolve, will we learn from history or repeat it on an even larger scale? If this story gave you a new perspective, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden forces shaping our world. Comment below. What do you think is the next chapter in the story of social media and global power? Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe for more videos.